and US are the natural partners, what Prime Minister Modi said on Wednesday in response to President Donald Trump's conciliatory post in which he described Indian leader as his dear friend. We have seen that on Saturday as well. They were exchanged on the social media platform. How do you assess and how do you analyze present relationship between the two leaders and given the situation between the two countries?
You know, at one level, many prime ministers now have said that India and the US are in a sense natural allies. You know, it was Prime Minister Vajpayee who had first used the term, and then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had spoken along similar lines, as has Prime Minister Modi. Of course, right now it is getting a little bit of attention because of the India-US relationship is going through a difficult phase. And I think since perhaps May, but especially since July, there is a sense that there are serious differences of opinion and approach between the two countries. And then President Trump had proceeded to first impose 25% tariffs on India, citing that he was not satisfied with the progress in the bilateral negotiations on trade, and then an additional 25% tariff starting 27th August, arguing that India is buying a lot of energy from Russia, and that is not acceptable to the US. And that in India had once again resurrected the sense that the US at times will not be a reliable partner. Now, for a long time, US was not seen as a reliable partner, but since 2000, with changes in government, both Republican and Democratic presidents, the relationship has been maintained on an upward trajectory. And gradually the sense was developing that perhaps one could look at US as a more trustworthy partner. But with what President Trump has done now, that sense is back. Can the US be really a reliable partner if it takes unilateral measures? Because as Indian officials have said, that the tariff imposed because of purchases from Russia is not justified at all. Because in the Biden administration, it was the US that encouraged India to buy more from Russia to to stabilize the global energy prices. In fact, there is a statement of the former US Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, in April or May of 2022, where she said that she doesn't mind at all India buying more and more from Russia as long as it's under the price cap. And even if India buys more than price cap, so long as it is not using Western ships or Western insurance companies, they have no difficulty. Now, this is a change of position. Now, how do you build a relationship if the policy of your partner suddenly changes? So that was the dilemma. I think perhaps on the US side also, that there was a recognition that with whatever measure they were taking against India, and I would not even say that this is a US measure. I would say it's a measure taken by President Trump, because all of this is emanating from the politics of Donald Trump and people around him who are essentially amplifying whatever he's saying. There are voices in the US criticizing the administration for what they're doing. You know, the House Foreign Affairs Democrats have come out with a statement, many other senior leaders. But so this has been, but I think President Trump perhaps also felt that maybe the kind of pressure that he was generating on India, and a lot of people say that, you know, he goes in for maximum pressure in negotiations as a way of extracting, but India was holding firm, and it was perhaps having a negative impact. You know, the optics of the Prime Minister going to the SCO summit in China and having a very, very sort of positive interaction both with the Russian president, the Chinese president, that played in a big way in the US and generated a lot of commentary. Questions were asked, is the US losing India, which is not in US interest? So I think because of that, my sense is that President Trump may have felt that they had gone too far in terms of the pressure, and perhaps there was a need to move away a bit from that. And that's why on Friday he commented publicly and in social media that the US-India relationship is a special relationship, and there are moments that the two countries have on occasion, but it will all work out all right. And the Prime Minister had responded very positively. And then this morning he has come out with another comment saying that he's happy to announce that trade negotiations have resumed, and he's confident that soon some outcome will be there. And the Prime Minister has responded. So I would say that I think from both sides, there is a recognition that the relationship is important to both. And a renewed effort is now being made to stabilize the relationship and try and resume the path of